This is video 14A, Contractions del and al, Spanish 1. Okay. The first thing you need to understand about this skill is that if you don't know how to say el, la, los, and las, if you don't know the difference between these or how to choose which one of these is appropriate in a sentence when you say the word the, these words mean the. If you don't know the difference between these four and don't know when to use which one, then you need to stop the video and watch the articles video, the video on articles. Okay. Now, this skill is contractions. We're going to be using de and a with these four words here. Now, de means of or from, a means at or to. So, of thee, from thee, or at thee, to thee. So all of these words mean thee. So, you are not allowed to have de and el next to each other. If you're going to have these next to each other, then what you have to do, you have to make a contraction, del. It's the same thing as if when in English we have do and not next to each other, you are free to say don't. When in Spanish, you are not free to say del, you have to say del. You are not allowed to have de el. Okay? You are allowed to have do not. As a matter of fact, your English teachers would prefer that you do have do not instead of don't. In Spanish, you are not allowed to have de el. You must have del. Okay. So de el equals del. You can have de la. You can have de los. You can have de las. There's only the contraction for de el. If you have the word la in your phrase, you will not need the contraction. You cannot use the contraction. De los, no contraction. De las, no contraction. You only have a contraction when you have de and el. Okay. Same thing for the word a, meaning at. So we have el, la, los, and las. You are not allowed to have a, el next to each other. If you have those two words, you have to instead write al. You are allowed to have a la, a los, and a las. You are simply not allowed to have a el. If you encounter a el, you have to write al instead. Now, the easy way to figure this out is, what do you have to have in order for this to have a contraction? You have to have the word the, that's for a singular guy, for el. Okay? El perro, el cuaderno, el estudio, el estadio, el museo. Okay? The for singular guy object. If you have a girl, it's going to be la, so it would be de la. If you have guys, it would be de los. If you have girls, it will be de las. You only need the contraction when it's going to be a singular guy. Now, let's look at our worksheet. To the montañas. Are montañas a guy? No. They are girls. So, a las montañas. Let's make that a little bigger. Okay. Okay, number 2. Coche, is that a guy? Yes, it is. So it would be el coche. When we put a in front of it, to the coche, then we have to make a contraction, al. So, number 3, oficina, that is a girl. So it would be from the oficina. No contraction, because this is a girl. Number 4, alumno is a guy. So from the, de, el, alumno, de and el have to contract to be del. Number 5, from the ciudad. Ciudad is a girl. So from the ciudad. If you don't know which one of these to pick, el, la, los, or las, then this skill is not possible for you right now. You need to go review the articles skill. Number 6, from the concierto. De, el, concierto, which means the de and the el are going to be a contraction. Number 7, to the tarea. A, la, tarea. Tarea was a girl, so it had to be la Tarea, hence a la Tarea. At the perro. Perro's a guy. A, el, perro, which means these two are going to form a contraction. Number 9. From the salon. De el salon. And de and el mean you have to form the contraction. Number 10. To the apartamento. A, el, apartamento. So A and L have to form the contraction, al. Number 11. To the tienda. To the tienda. Number 12. To the campo. To the campo. And A and L form the contraction, al. Number 13. To the oficinas. Number 14. De los lagos. I can't emphasize enough, if you didn't know that the word for the in this phrase was going to be with los, then you're trying to do too much right now. You need to step back and look at articles. Number 15. A, el alumno. And A and L make the contraction al. Number 16. A, la sala. Number 17. A, la computadora. Number 18. De la tienda. 19. De el museo. And L and de make the contraction del. Number 20, A el comedor, and A and L make the contraction al. Okay, this concludes the video on contractions del and al.